Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. We're going to take our second look at pro wrestling magazines. I think we looked at 1979 the last time. I think this time we're going to look at the fall of 1982. This was a sports review series. It was the Wrestling Superstars. And this is the three of the sexiest men, I think, at the time. Let me see if I can get over to this. I'm gonna try something new. So if I turn myself off, you know that the new was not the right idea. So let me go to this camera here and see if it works. There we go. There the votes are in. Wrestling sexiest superstars revealed. Rick Martel, Ricky Steamboat. Wow, fire. Somebody say fired up. He didn't do that then, by the way. I don't think he did that. Tommy Rich. Rodney, you said we had this magazine?
Yes, we did. We sure did.
How over was all three of these guys in 1982? Jack?
Huge over.
You know, Tommy Rich in Georgia Championship Wrestling. Ricky Steamboat at the time was in the Carolinas. And I believe Rick Martel was the AWA, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he did go. Rick Martel did go to Georgia a few times. I think he got fired twice from Georgia. I'm sure. I think both times.
At least he keeps up his record.
This is true. This is true here. Let's see if we can see where we got here. Here's the top wrestlers at the time.
Let me zoom in there, cameraman.
Zoom in, cameraman. The top wrestlers at the time. As you see, the World Wrestling Federation was Chief Jay Strongbow, Ivan Pusky, Tony Atlas, Jesse Ventura, Adrian Adonis, Greg Valentine, Pedro Morales, Cowboy Bob Orton, Blackjack Mulligan, Jimmy Snuka, and Bob Backlund. The AWA, Bobby Duncombe, Jim Brunzell, Greg Gagne, Sheik. Okay, I always get his name right, Jack.
Adnan El-KC.
All right, thank you. Tommy Rich.
I do believe that would be at that time. He was probably back in with Jarrett, which was with the AWA.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was lost. So he was not at that point. He was not back to Atlanta yet.
You have to remember the magazines are about 3 months behind.
All right. Crusher Blackwell, Baron Von Raschke, Ken Patera, Tito Santana, Hulk Hogan, the champion was Nick Bockwinkel. The most popular, Pedro Morales, Junkyard Dog, Mil Mascaras, Mr. Wrestling 2, Ricky Steamboat. I almost said Rick Stewart. I don't think he was ever the most popular. Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund, Dusty Rhodes, Tommy Rich, Andre the Giant. Let's talk about that just for a second. Let's talk about these most popular guys. Every one of these guys drew a lot of money in the wrestling business. Even though we talk about Mil Mascaras did draw a lot of money. You could put him on a card and people would have paid to come see him. He was an attraction. But every one of these guys were over. And every one of these guys drew money at some point in the wrestling business. Any comments on these guys, Jack?
Well, I'll just point out that of the three, really, Steamboat was the only one that had real longevity in the industry. As far as about top draw.
This is true, Rodney.
Yeah, I would have ranked at that point. I would have ranked Junkyard Dog much higher because of his. Well, all right. See, I shouldn't make such comments. Obviously, I've upset the people in the trucks. But yeah, okay.
All right, the National Wrestling Alliance, Harley Race. Tommy, is that getting blurry or is it just me?
It's blurry.
All right, let's just move on from that because that's getting so blurry you can't even see it. All right, let's look at the picture. Oh, here's Ken Patera, Crusher Blackwell, Nick Bockwinkel, Ivan Pusky. All pretty.
Hey, I like that. I like that ad about the faces there. You know, when you get older, you can do that to your skin without even having to buy a product.
What are we going over the tag teams? What do we got there?
Oh, we'll go with the tag teams. Ken Lucas and Ricky Morton. Jesse Ventura and Adrian Adonis, the Samoans. Dick Slater and Bruiser Brody. Ken Patera and Bobby Duncombe. Jay Youngblood and Pork Chop Cash never really realized they ever teamed with each other. Did not know that. Dory Funk Jr. and David Von Erich. That was when they was in Florida. That was when David Von Erich was the bad guy. Super Destroyer and John Studd. Greg Gagne and Jim Brunzell. Well, they were there for a long time because in 1979, they teamed with each other longer than I thought they did.
Yeah.
Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito. Most hated. We'll look at that. Kabuki. Harley Race, David Von Erich, Ivan Koloff, Gary Hart, Ken Patera, Ric Flair, Sergeant Slaughter, Roddy Piper, and Jimmy Snuka. And then we'll look at the we'll go ahead and look at the national. Where is the National Wrestling Alliance? Harley Race, Tommy Rich, David Von Erich, Dusty Rhodes, Dory Funk Jr. I think that's supposed to be Bruiser Brody, or probably just the Bruiser, wasn't it? Would that be? I think that'd be the Bruiser.
Yes.
Roddy Piper, Mr. Wrestling 2. Ron Bass made this list in the National Wrestling Alliance, number 2. Sergeant Slaughter and Ric Flair. Hulk Hogan. And this is before he goes to this is the AWA times.
Yeah. Yeah, that obviously with the logo was when he worked in Japan a lot.
Yes, I see that. I see that down there. Hey, all right, so now let's go to this one. We all remember Andy Kaufman, Jerry Lawler. Tremendous stuff. If you've not seen the stuff that Andy Kaufman did, just tremendous stuff. And we see Mr. Wrestling 2 down below there. And I'm not for sure. I think he says he's going against James J. Dillon in that match. I'm thinking that's who that was. Oh, by the way, you can. This woman is making $10,000 this year. $10,000 this year. Here we are, the High Flyers. Jim Brunzell, Greg Gagne.
Yeah, I thought they were a great team.
They were a great tag team. Look at those title belts there. Look a lot like the North American title, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Probably, everybody used the same design. So back then, here we go. Captain Lou Albano with the Mongols. Who was the Mongols at that point? Do y'all know?
Not really.
Was it? Because it wasn't.
Not by 82, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't the Superstar.
But that's rating his tag team. So
Yeah.
that must have been over the years.
Yeah.
So that wasn't current. So yeah, it was over the years. So he managed the Mongols, Tarzan, Tyler, and Luke Graham, Baron Cicluna, and King Curtis, the Lumberjacks, the Executioners. Down at the bottom, it looks like let's see. Oh no, that's not sure. Oh, that's Cicluna and King Curtis at the bottom.
All right, was I might let's get up on that. Was that Scott Irwin as one of the Lumberjacks?
It's out of focus. We can't tell.
Yeah,
It does look like him, best I can see, though.
Yeah, that's for some reason that's really out of focus. I don't know what happened there, but when it's in this page, I think maybe the lights. The lights are out of the thing. Because is that page blurry?
No, not too bad. You can tell it's Ric Flair with a ball bat. And down here, it looks like Ric Flair with a guitar.
I think that was Tommy Rich with a guitar. Yeah, I think it was Tommy Rich with a guitar. Because that's what it says in their profile of Tommy Rich.
We can't read the writing. We can just see the.
I don't know. It could be. There they are again with Crusher Blackwell. Crusher Blackwell and all right, don't say who he's wrestling. Doesn't say. All right, so when Gino Hernandez said he was with Farrah Fawcett, he wasn't lying, was he? Ain't that who that is? Ain't that Farrah Fawcett?
That's her.
That's what I thought. Gino Hernandez.
Man, what a huge star he would have been.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Maybe that look better right there. Man, John Studd looks wild right there, don't he? John Studd. Andre the Giant must have hated his guts. And it's just because he stepped over the top rope.
Yeah.
You would think when Andre the Giant would tell you not to step on the top rope. You wouldn't step on the top rope.
I wrestled John Studd. John was an awesome guy.
I'm not even sure who this is. It says ban this match, but for some reason I don't know who that is. I'm not for sure who's in that match. I really don't. There's Rodney's favorite wrestler, Mil Mascaras, and the original Sheik. Who's the Masked Man? Do y'all know who the Masked Man is? Is that Mil Mascaras?
El Canuck.
But
that could be Mascaras, though.
Yeah, I believe it was. I believe that was before he did that little part of that mask that he did there. Here we go. Rick Martel. And he's going against Jesse Ventura. I'm not for sure who he's wrestling against there.
And this was voted. I think I think it was Richard says the women should be voted on this. We did not vote on this. It was voters. And that looked like 8,000. Was it 8,531?
Yeah, the vote for him to be the. Here we go. World's sexiest wrestler.
He had to be very careful about anybody hitting him in the back of the head. Knock his teeth out, and he'll be going trying to find his teeth on the ring.
He did that one night. Dad said he picked him up and put him in his pocket. Tommy Rich, number 2, he got 8,297 votes. Wildfire, Tommy Rich. And then, I don't know, not for sure how I'm going to get over there. There he is there. I don't think that's Ivan Koloff. He's got a headlock on.
Yeah.
Ricky Steamboat was in shape, wasn't he?
Yep.
I mean, he was in shape. And then here he is there once going against Harley Race. And I'm not for sure who that is. Mil Mascaras. Well, he was all in this magazine. Do you think he paid these people in this thing? Man, he's all over it. Hulk Hogan. He was one of the sexiest superstars, number 4. Sexiest superstar, number 4. He got 7,612 votes. The Hulkster. He became one. He was one of the sexiest wrestlers. Did not realize that he was.
Well, when you have him in a picture with Crusher Blackwell, I guess so.
Number 5, Ric Flair got 5,003 votes. Ted DiBiase got in that as well. As we see, Ted DiBiase got 4,772 votes. Tony Atlas also in there. Mr. USA got 4,691 and one. Rodney's greatest. Kevin.
Now, for reference, this was back in the day when Kevin could really go and had a tremendous physique.
Yes, I agree with you. He was wrestling back then. 3,710 votes. Dino Bravo. Dino Bravo got. I don't know why I can't move this back over. Am I going the wrong way? I'm going the wrong way with it.
You're gonna Mil is number. He's the next one.
Now, how can Mil Mascaras be considered sexiest wrestler of? You don't even know.
Because the writers really liked him.
I think they did.
Brent, we've established he did pay to be in this magazine.
Here is Rowdy Roddy Piper before he was Rowdy as the commentator on Georgia Championship Wrestling, along with Ken Patera. I think this was why Ken Patera was in Georgia, wasn't it? I think it was probably during this time.
I think he was there before because Jimmy Snuka was also there with Ken. Terry Gordy was there because that was that where they were doing the sledgehammer with that center block, and that's when Terry Gordon was telling everybody, don't try this at home. Yeah, try this at home, but try putting it on your head and knock a little sense into you. That was good stuff.
This is more of Lou Albano's
tag teams of Mulligans, Blackjacks, Mulligan, and Lanza, Samoans. This is the book that I was thinking about with all the teams in it. because it seemed like that's where I think I got 16 World Tag Team Champions that Albano managed.
There's Mill again in this thing.
That's the continuation of the story, and I believe that was the band match was the Texas Chain Match, is what I think I saw in that story.
There's the Sheiks of wrestling right there. Hulk Hogan against Blackwell. He must have worked against Blackwell for a while there. And Tony Guerrero, Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund. Let's see. A very famous wrestling album used to be able to buy as well.
Yes.
That worked out pretty good, but it's a little blurry. I'm gonna have to figure out why that was blurry this time. But that's the magazine, and we'll go through some more. Thank you, Daniel Lang, for sending them over to Jack. We certainly do appreciate you sending them to Jack. And
yeah, I really do.
we do appreciate.
I'm gonna frame them and fill up all the blank holes in my wall.
That'd be great.
There's a ton of these, Jack, too. I'm talking maybe 20.
Wow.
Maybe 20, 25 of these. They are in little holders as well. You know, if we would have done that,
that's actually a proper way. Yeah, you're right. If we'd have done that, we would still have our stuff.
Yeah. So thank you, Daniel. We certainly do appreciate it. We enjoyed looking through this, and I'm maybe this camera is not going to be the one I used to analyze a little blurry. Great stuff. 1982 was a great year for wrestling. It was drawn. Most places was drawing pretty good crowds. And Jack, anything you want to say about anything you seen in these magazines?
I remember I used to have all of those magazines too. So many moves. I've got a handful left. But wrestling magazines back in that time is really the only way that fans had of finding out what was going on all over the wrestling world. So we became educated because of those magazines, and it's nice to go back and look at them, even though there was a lot of work to it. Yeah. Still, they push storylines, they push people, and if you didn't see them on TV though, but when they were coming into your area, most of the time you knew who they were because of the magazines. Yeah. So it was a great collaboration there between promoters and the magazines, and of course Bill Apter is the lead photographer. I don't know that there's anywhere Bill didn't wind up going and taking some great shots.
I am going to scan all this stuff in. I am going to scan all these pictures and stuff in, so we have them, so we can show people as the years go by on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. Let's look and see what the insiders have got to say about maybe the magazines, or just to say hello to them. Michael Barr, what is the WWE thinking? I saw a yellow dressed banana on a scooter wrestling last night. Did they really? Was it really?
I missed that. I watched most of the show. That must have been in the first hour. I didn't see the first hour.
Goldberg is challenging Lashley. The women's match were better. Rodney said the women's matches.
They are. Yep. And in fact, I haven't seen this week's shows, but the week prior, Raw and SmackDown ended with the women, both shows.
Yep.
And they really are. They are, I think, far above what the men are doing.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't think it's because they're not overdoing it. Every other of the men's matches are kind of repetitious, but the women are really innovating, innovating in what they're doing. Awesome. And Charlotte Flair, just great right now.
Jack, what do you think?
Oh, I agree. I think the product is getting better as far as WWE, because AEW is not just breathing down their necks; they're blowing some heavy smoke their way. Now, we all know that ratings is not how you win a wrestling war anymore, but they're certainly up in the game. I think their product has gotten better, and it's forcing WWE to step back and figure out some new things too. Now, if they keep fumbling the ball and letting these top guys go that AEW can pick up and draw with, they may overtake them as far as ratings before too long. Of course, I don't think they'd ever come close to putting WWE out of business. That's too big a conglomerate now.
Yeah.
As I explained to somebody today, there's a difference between a billionaire owning a company the way AEW is and a company that's a billion-dollar company like WWE is. Big difference.
And just this quarter, WWE made $269 million. Just this quarter. So when you look at that, I don't even think AEW made $269 million for the whole year. So I think they only get like $36 to $42 million a year to be on TBS. Yeah. So compared to Vince McMahon's $200 million a year per network. So you got to remember.
And I'm hoping AEW, can continue to grow and make money and give them because what WWE has needed for 20 years now is competition.
Yes.
And whatever form that is, whatever it takes to light a fire under Vince and quit this lazy booking that he's done for so long. All this time he could have looked at NXT and seen how a wrestling show was supposed to be ran, but he don't watch it. So anyway, there's my rant.
Well, I thought it was very good that they had the NXT champion on Raw. I think it was not this past Monday, but last Monday. I thought it was great, and honestly, that does not need to be the second tier organization. They need to bring NXT up as equal. And when it comes to the draft, when it comes up, everybody, including NXT, would be a part of the draft.
Richard.
Yeah, he was on. Karrion Kross was on again last night too, and they beat him. Wow. It's his second loss. And of course, I understand what the storyline is that until his manager comes back in the scene on Raw, then he's going to have a losing record, and that she's going to be the one that turns him around. And I'm okay with
that. Just checked in, Richard Hood. We were talking about the sexiest people of all time on our magazine, and he said, guys, women should judge this. I'm pretty sure nobody judged this.
No, everything they did was work.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they might have, but I doubt it very seriously. I'd say it was just who they liked, and that's who they wanted to push.
But now magazines had strong sales back then, though, because you didn't have as many different magazines as what they had devoted to wrestling if they weren't selling.
This was a Bill Apter magazine, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes. The wrestling superstar.
Which, by the way, I read a thing from him here not long ago where he explained that while everybody refers to it as the Bill Apter mags, he was only the lead photographer. He wasn't the editor. He wasn't the head guy. But because he was basically the face of the company, that's where it got the Bill Apter mag nomenclature from.
Yeah, Stanley Weston. Yep. Was the president and publisher, and Peter King was the editor-in-chief. So, and it was London.
And I want to say Eddie passed away, maybe, and then I can't remember who stepped in after him.
Is London Publishing Corporation still around?
I'm not sure. I know Pro Wrestling Illustrated is still being published.
I don't know if is that a different company because they quit being published. And they came back, right?
I don't think PWI ever quit. I think they may be the only one remaining as far as pro wrestling publications that's still printing today.
Michael Barr says Nick Bockwinkel's name doesn't get mentioned a lot, and I don't think they do. I don't think for some reason he doesn't get the credit he deserves as being the great champion that he was.
Fantastic.
A lot of money. Yeah, Michael, we found out it was out of focus, but we'll figure out a different way to do that. This camera, I probably just don't know how to use it.
Nick Bockwinkel's one of those guys. I think he could have been a great world champion in any territory he went to. He was so good.
Ray Stevens, Nick Bockwinkel was a good team. Richard Hood was saying, and they were a great tag team.
Yep.
But now, boy, if you have not seen Ray Stevens and Pat Patterson,
wow. Yeah.
Oh, man.
There is a great documentary on WWE about Pat Patterson, and he talks a lot about him and their time together as a tag team.
They were good, man.
Yeah.
Were good. They did things way before their time. Love the older magazines, Stuart Kemp. Yes, and you know we have some older magazines like this, but a lot of them got destroyed, and and we call the water incident got destroyed. Let's see, Richard Hood, King Parsons, and Pork Chop Cash. Did Iceman King Parsons wrestle as a tag team called, I believe they were the Breakdancers, and Brickhouse Brown was with them?
I can't say for sure, but that kind of sounds familiar.
Because I watched the show and they were called the Breakdancers, and I knew it was Brickhouse Brown. Wasn't for sure if that was Iceman King Parsons, but it certainly did look like him. What's his name? He did say Ray Stevens and Nick Bockwinkel. But I think that was, I see he had it spelled right. I've always spelled Bockwinkel two different ways, so Jim Brunzell, Greg Gagne, Tommy Rich, Rick Martel, great tag team, but Rick Martel gets fired before they really get going.
Yeah.
I think he asked for more money. I believe that's, and I think I remember, Ollie, you need to come in and talk to Rick. Alexis Smirnoff and Ivan Koloff. Well, they were a good tag team.
Yeah.
Great tag team.
Michael Barr says, makes one want to go back in time and find these magazines. You know what would be tremendous if they would do? I don't know if they would sell in or not, but can you imagine putting these back out for people to buy again?
Well, the eBay has a ton of them for sale.
May have to purchase some of those so we have them to show people on there. Michael Barr said it was a band match, so we may never know. Yeah,
you're right. They'll never have that match again.
And the thing about it is, I don't even know who these two people were. I don't know who the people are wrestling in this thing, and I don't. Maybe they didn't mean for you to know who it was, because maybe it
was just the match. Maybe it was just the match itself, and I believe it was the Texas chain match, right?
Yes, it was the or the Russian chain match or the any kind of chain. But I couldn't figure out who was even wrestling in the thing. I don't know that. Maybe he went to. I bet they went to Mickey Henry's. I bet that's.
He couldn't afford a chain.
That's right.
Guys, remember when I went under the hood and interview with Ernie Ladd on GCW? Yes,
that's right.
They remember that. Stuart Kemp. Hey, yeah, you know what? The one thing I haven't done tonight, I haven't bit my tongue. So, anyway. Michael, sometimes they have at CAC in Nostalgia Room. I hung it onto a few I wrote for Wrestling World, Wrestling's Main Event, and Gold Belt Wrestling. We've got a couple of them Gold Belt Wrestlings from 1986 to 1995. So, Stuart Kemp, I donated a mag from 1958.
Wow.
Wrestling Hall of Fame.
These are the ones behind me here, wherever they are. 1959.
Wow.
There's a 58, 59, a little bit higher. There's 60 and 61.
Well, they put the boxing and wrestling together back then, didn't they?
Yeah.
Michael Barr said, I was built like that years ago, but the publishers did not take down pictures and put them in the magazine. So you could not be. You're saying you could have been one of the wrestlers' sexiest.
That is what he's saying, yes.
Saying you could have been in there. All right. Charles was telling us my assassin story, 1968. Alberto Torres with the assassin and 2 out of 3 falls. Between falls, wrestlers went to the dressing room. The assassin came back out with a different mask. Crowd went nuts, claiming the assassin was the other assassin. I love it.
I love it.
I love it. Jody knew what he was doing. Rick Brooks. I have a lot of the same magazine here. I always liked the Wrestling News out of Minnesota, yes, because it wasn't totally kayfabe like the yeah, that's true, and it wasn't. It told who was working each territory in wrestling. Yeah, I thought those were good magazines. The Wrestling News. We sold those at the arenas.
Yes, and they would change the covers depending on where you were at.
Yeah, Mid South Wrestling had different ones, but then they would sell really quick. I think they were only like $1 or $2. Wasn't
$2. I think we sold them for $2.
Charlotte is the top of her game for sure. Yes, she. I've not watched it, but I do know I liked her because you slowed it down.
Yes.
She slowed it down. She let people, something would happen. She would give them time to talk about it, give them time to, and that's very important. If you do it too fast, they're not going to remember nothing you did. I know I won't. And if I know I won't remember, anybody else can remember. Yes, Jack, for sure. I'd like to see another promotion compete against the WWE. And AEW's not.
I don't particularly care if anybody competes against anyone else per se. This putting each other out of business, I think it's silly. Just do a different kind of product and draw a whole different crowd.
Exactly.
Seemed as magazines' popularity grows, so do the number of titles being made, and that probably is true. Michael Barr, he said, true statement. Richard Hood said they were the Blackbirds.
Yes.
Yeah, now that I do remember being called that. Parsons and Brickhouse.
Where was this at? Where did they wrestle and do this at?
Was that not Texas?
Was it Texas?
Right.
King Parsons. Terrence Hardy said King Parsons, Portia Cash were Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions. I never realized that either. Stuart Kemp. They really pushed NWA and the WF trying to keep more kayfabe. Others, though, had a bit of understanding, follow what we say, and you and print things, take pics, etc. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like them because they'd come up with some of that stories. Jim Barnett loved Bill Apter, though. I have a couple from 65 here. One has the Graham Brothers. Oh, tremendous. I love
Scan those in, Rick. Scan those in.
Yeah, scan those in. I still got some Mickey sent us. We're going to have to continue doing those as well. There's a ton of pictures programs we need to go through for Georgia. As soon as you don't play ball, you're out. Apter and company fared much better on the independent scene. I think I will check out eBay. Michael Barr said he would do. Good idea. Thanks, Jack. Stuart Kemp. Maybe Vern didn't want to play ball, trying instead to keep kayfabe to himself. Guys like Bockwinkel, etc. suffered as a result. He could have been right about that. Yeah, I'll tell you who did good. Jerry Lawler did good to put himself on the magazines. I think he called after himself. Said, hey, there's a great wrestler down here you need to take pictures of. His name is Jerry the King Lawler. You won't believe how good he is. He's so good, and he sent his own stories and everything.
Well, wasn't that what Cornette was doing?
I think Cornette was doing that.
He taking pictures for the magazines?
Yeah. Michael Barr said, by the way, Rodney, you say that is your workout room. Where are your weights? No, the workout room's out. It's not in the same.
Not in this room here. No, it's a different room. It's I call it. It's not a room. It's a building that's out back.
Yes. Richard Wood, and it has a bunch of. By the way, it has a lot of review posters up in there. That's what it's got. When we
circus stuff, we got circus stuff up in there.
Memphis is where they did the Blackbirds. That's what they said.
Oh,
Michael Barr, the good idea was the WF needs a competitive company. Yeah, and they do, because when they do compete, when you have competition, you get better. Because you really take the time to make sure that you're doing stuff innovative. And when Vince McMahon was trying to compete with the National Wrestling Alliance, Jim Crockett, look at the stuff that he was doing. When he was, when he had to go against Ted Turner and he's competing against Ted Turner, look what he did. So it'd be really good if AEW could get up there to the 2 million, 2 million people watching their show. It'd be tremendous, because do you know how well and how good the WWE product's going to be? They're going to go out of their way to produce a great product, and it'll be great for all wrestling fans, just like it was in 1998, 1999, when we got to see some really good stuff on television on both sides. Even though WCW dropped the ball and tried to continue doing the NWO 6000. Jerry Lawler was the king of Memphis, yes, and Jerry Lawler was over in Memphis. He was just there too long. I think not only did he draw the money, but he never passed the torch to anyone else. When he should have passed the torch sometime in the 90s, and maybe they would have went further, but he did not. The thing about it, they talk about Hulk Hogan didn't pass the torch, but he did. He passed it to the Ultimate Warrior. It wasn't his fault the Ultimate Warrior couldn't take care of it. That's not his fault. He did what he was supposed to do. But Jerry Lawler, think about it. Did he ever pass the torch to anyone?
No.
Nope. Not one person.
And on purpose.
Yeah. Jackie Fargo passed the torch to him, and he never passed the torch.
He's still in Memphis trying to keep that torch burning.
That and he did have his last softball game, by the way. Jerry the King Lawler, great wrestler. I don't take nothing right. Jerry King Lawler he drew a lot of money. He did a lot of great stuff. The stuff he did in Memphis was tremendous. By the time he becomes the AWA champion, though, not so well. Not so good. Walk and talk champion does not draw you money. Michael Barr said, thanks, Jack, Brent, Roddy, prayers, Raw. Next week, same YouTube time. Be safe. Thank you so much. I want to thank y'all so much for supporting our channel. We have a very small community that supports our channel, and we certainly do appreciate it. Every bit helps, and it goes to it went to this camera that was blurry, but I had to work on that and find out why that's blurry. That way I didn't have to hold it up. I thought it would be better if I would put it down here, but that didn't work out too good for me tonight. Brent, we'll ask this question and then we'll leave. Brent, who could have Jerry passed the torch to? I don't know, because I don't know. He should have really passed the torch sometime before he left and went to WWE. And I don't know who it could have been at the time, but I don't think Eddie Gilbert could have been the guy. But let me think on that. Maybe we need to do a show on that. Who could have Jerry Lawler passed the torch? Because I don't know who was wrestling there at the time. Do y'all?
By that time, let's just say the talent pool was mighty shallow.
Yeah. So we'd have to look at it. When did Jerry Lawler quit drawing money in Memphis? That's when he should have started passing the torch. And while he's drawing, and they're drawing, it's when they should do it, not afterwards. Yeah,
they need to be working on it before that. And the bottom line is, he was there too long. They
were afraid to get somebody over because Jerry Lawler was afraid somebody would come in and get over and try to steal his 25% of the territory, like he did Jerry. All right, folks, we'll see everybody on the next episode. Thank y'all so much. We certainly do appreciate it, and we'll see everybody next week. Don't forget, Monday night we'll do a special show on Jody Hamilton, and we'll pay tribute to one of the greats in professional wrestling. All right, see y'all next week. Until then, everybody, hey.
So long from the hillbilly state of Tennessee.
And from the COVID capital of the South, Alabama.